Well, this is your statement. The state alleged that I had sex with two sisters when one was 9 years old and the other was 10. These girls told their aunt when they turned 15 and 16 years old, they didn't tell their mother. The 16-year-old had a baby girl for a guy named John M. I requested a DNA test, but it was refused. You remember saying that?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's right. And we're going to hear from one of the survivors. She's going to leave a mic drop on him. So look forward to that. Anyways, his full term date is 2039. So he's got a lot riding on this hearing. And with that, let's jump in.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're Kenneth Reed, senior. You're offender. You are classified as a third felony offender. You're here serving a 40-year sentence for forcible rape. Concurrent with that sentence is 15 years for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You were sentenced in Rapides in October of 2000. Your parole eligibility date was August 1st, 2021. You do not earn good time. You have a full term date, August 22nd, 2039. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Reed, how long have you been in jail?
20 going on 22 years.
2 years, so a little over half would be 40-year sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me go over your prison record. You know, I've read the record. It's very concerning. And just correct me if I'm wrong. The victim, was that your biological daughter? What was your relationship with her?
My
Stepdaughter, and that started about the age of 9 and occurred over about a 7-year period, according to the record. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
And also, there's some information, although it's not, 2 counts of forcible rape. Yeah, also, it seems as though her sister was also sexually abused.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, since you've been, did you complete the sex offender treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
You just recently completed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it seems to me somewhere I noted that you refused sex offender treatment some years ago. You re-enrolled, you finally completed.
No, ma'am, I ain't refused it. When I was at Angola, they were saying that people couldn't get in there because they were looking for short timers. So when I come here, they told me about it and I jumped in the class real quick.
Okay, well, tell me what you learned from that program.
I learned a lot from that program by doing wrong, and that's very, very wrong what I did. And I was upset with myself for messing with that them young ladies like that by being on drugs, and that was wrong. And I don't invite no one to do nothing like that. And that class teacher a lot.
You did not understand that that was inappropriate behavior at the time you were committing those sex offenses.
I was on drugs during that time, and I'm understand that I was wrong what I done.
Right. But to my question.
Yes, ma'am.
So the question was, you say that what you learned in the recently completed sex offender classes were that you learned it was wrong.
Right, yes, ma'am.
So at the time it was happening, you did not understand that it was inappropriate behavior.
Yes, ma'am.
So you talk about, you said you were under the influence of drugs. Tell us about that. What were the drugs?
I was messing with the cocaine and stuff, the rocks, and I don't think that was right because I thought I could handle it, and I messed up my life. I was doing too good to be messing with drugs from the start.
What was your age when you first started using cocaine? Or any substance, I guess I should say.
Probably about really 18, or then I got off of it, and then I started again when I was about 25, just going back and forward, messing over my life, you know.
Did you ever had any treatment?
No, ma'am. Only treatment I had is my family and my grandpa, them, before Lord bless the dead, telling me that ain't no good to be messing with that.
Did you drink alcohol
No, ma'am.
also? Just the, was
Just
it?
beer every now and then, but I wasn't really on no strong alcohol.
And so just the cocaine.
Yes, ma'am, them rocks.
So let me, so what does that mean? You smoked it? When you say
Yes, ma'am.
rocks?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm concerned about when I go back and I look at your past,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
criminal history, I see a lot of violence. I see aggravated battery, extortion, simple battery, aggravated battery. And even, I guess after this crime, in December of 2000, there was a second degree battery. Tell me what was going on with you and all of that.
Messing with drugs is a lot. Like I was saying, I don't use no excuses, but when you're messing with drugs a lot, it have you doing all kind of crazy things that you don't meant to do, but try to do everything make you violent or whatever, all kind of stuff like that.
So what you took anger management.
Yeah,
Over
yes, ma'am.
What did you learn in that class?
In that class, they'll teach you a whole lot. Teach you about being self-motivation, to stop from being crazy all the time, leave drugs alone, try to help each other, mentor to each other, and, you know, mind your own business and work hard and be a human being like you're supposed to be, and a man, instead of being an animal or something, because that's how drugs make you do. And I was wrong.
When you had first applied for clemency, but then Act 122 rather made you parole eligible. So that's why we're here. So the information we have in front of us today was part of your clemency investigation after you made that application. And in that investigation, an indication from you in your statement that you made to the parole officer who was that was kind of an indication that maybe you didn't commit this sex offense.
Oh, to my knowledge, if I did say it, I was wrong. But what I was saying that I was wrong for what I've done.
Well, this is your statement. The state alleged that I had sex with two underage sisters when one was 9 years old and the other was 10. These girls told their aunt when they turned 15 and 16 years old, they didn't tell their mother. The 16-year-old had a baby girl for a guy named John M. I requested a DNA test, but it was refused. You remember saying that?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the way I read that was you were kind of insinuating perhaps you didn't commit the crime. Now let me talk about the anger management. You completed anger management in 2011, like we talked about.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, I look at your conduct record, which is fairly good after, almost 22 years in prison. You got 7 write-ups. And the last one that I saw at least was in 2018, but it was for fighting.
I laughed because it was 2 friends fighting, and I was calling myself breaking them up from fighting. And by me breaking them up, they turned on me, told me to stay out of their business. So they jumped on me and whooped me. So all of us got locked up. And I said I would never break nobody else up from fighting.
You do have a low risk score. How do I'm concerned, I don't think you have enough programs under your belt. I just learned today that you have a sex offender treatment that you completed. In last year. We completed the last course, phase 4 in December. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've done the reentry some years ago, and you've done inside out dads, nurturing parenting. How many children do you have?
Excuse me, ma'am?
Children do you have?
I have 7.
7?
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
all grown by now?
Ma'am?
They all grown, the children?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All of them grown.
Mhm. Have you given any thought to a transition plan whenever you're released?
Yes, ma'am. And dude, by respect, I'm gonna go to work, be a dad like I'm supposed to. And I want to also, while we speaking, to let the family and the young ladies know, and the friends and the community, that I was very, very wrong for what I've done. And I also want to let my family and friends know I was wrong for carrying them through this kind of tragedy. And I also want to thank the board for giving me an opportunity to get in front of them this morning. And I would be glad if y'all would give me a chance to go back into the side to be the person I'm supposed to be from the start years ago, being a man and a human being and a people person.
On Buttrose, is there anything you can add?
Madam Chairman, he has been at Hunt for a number of years. He has been, we're in and out of our industrial compound areas working. He has been working for a number of years as a trustee. He's worked in our chemical plant, and he's currently on the squad that's maintaining our grounds at the moment. He has a custody status that he stays inside of our gates, but he's able to move around the compound. He has positive comments from his supervisors, and we haven't really had much issue with him.
That's good, thank you. I don't see any other questions. Mr. Reed, is there a statement you'd like to make to us?
I thank y'all for giving me a chance to go back into society and be a human being. And I'm gonna go
All right.
work hard.
Yes, sir. We do, as I mentioned, and I failed to call on the victim. We have a victim who is here with us today who would like to speak. We'd like to hear from you now, ma'am.
Hi, how are you all?
Good. Thank you for joining us today. Go ahead.
Good. There was a point whereas I thought that I wouldn't be able to attend today, but I'm glad that I am. And I want to say that I don't think that he should be granted parole because of the fact that I was 9 years old when he started raping me and molesting me. And this carried on for almost 7 years. I don't feel that another little girl should go through the things that I went through, as far as feeling as if she is nothing, feeling as if she didn't want to live to see another day, feeling as if she was nobody and had no one to turn to. He told me that my mother would never believe me, and that's just what happened. My mom didn't believe me. I was lost, I felt alone, and I didn't want to live. And I don't feel as if another little girl or woman in general should go through the things that I did and the things that I'm still going through today.
Well, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your participation. I'm glad you were able to share your thoughts with us. It's important to the process. I think we are prepared to vote, and Mr. Reed, I'll be voting first. I'm glad to hear that what the warden has said about, with the folks around the facility, think of you, that you're doing well. I have some issues that I'm concerned about. I would like to see a little more programming. I think you could benefit from victim awareness. As you heard, the impact on your victims is lasting, life changing. And I think you could benefit from the victim awareness program. You have a history of violence. I'm concerned about that. We also have an expression in the record, law enforcement opposition. This is your first time to be able to appear before the parole board. You've never been here before. You'll have an opportunity to do so again. But based on those reasons, my vote today is to deny your parole. Ms. Jackson?
All right, Mr. Reed, you are making progress, and I'm glad to see that. I was concerned with Mrs. Renata was when I read your statement that suggested that this had all been made up. And so I'm hoping that having gone through the sex offender treatment program had an effect on you and made you realize that you had to own up to what you had actually done, and that allowed you to start at least thinking about how your actions affected those two little girls. I mean, I don't think there are words that can express what that has done to them in their lives going forward. You've got opposition from the victim, you've got opposition from the legal community and all of law enforcement. And I agree that you can benefit from some more programs. I'm glad you recently completed sex offender treatment. I'd also like to see a more definitive transition plan. We didn't hear anything about. It always concerns me when there's not family support for an individual, because I think family support is a key factor in that person's being successful when they get out. And I didn't see any family support for you, and I didn't hear any definite transition plan. So my vote today would be to deny, but encourage you to keep working. You've maintained a good institutional record, and so I expect that to carry on. And just get some more programs in, but also work on that transition plan. And you need to support that work, and I'd like to see that the next time you're eligible to apply. But today my vote would be to deny. But good luck to you.
All right, I just want to thank the young lady for her participation today. I know what courage it took, and you have that courage. So use that going forward. Mr. Reed, I read, and I listened today, and my vote is the same. I vote to deny for the reasons already stated. Again, go work on that transition plan and continue to do well. Best wishes to you, sir.
All right, sir. Today, Rose, you have some suggestions. Reapply when you can. Good luck.
What a mic drop by the survivor. It is so impactful to hear that. And Miss Wise telling the survivor some words of encouragement. I like seeing that.
I don't know why
I
they
don't
say
have any
reapply when you
information
can.
on
Come
this
on,
case. There's
you
no
know,
appeals, there's no
2039
news
full
articles,
term
just a
day,
child, but at least he did get a sentence. We're so used to seeing just little sentences for these type of cases, and it's Sunday. I'm watching the kids. That's the noise in the background, so I'm not going to go on much more.
Could you open this?
Say, please, Dada,
Please,
do number one, this one. Thank you. He calls me number one, this one, which is what I insist that It's like Your Royal Highness.
Since
I don't-
this is Daddy.
Dadu. Oh. So yeah. And you hear about this, and it's like, oh yeah, he did it to his stepdaughter and his sister, and it's like, oh, he blames it on the narcotics. It's like, no. You married into the family so you can have access to your prey. That's exactly what happened. Let's be real. And I don't know how to open this. Can you ask your big brother?
Okay,
Okay. Oh, I got it open.
I just did it.
What do you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, I mean, it's and this is why I do this. I have little kids, 3 of them. 9 years old, 7 years old, turning 8, and 3 turning 4. Actually, turning 4 in like a couple weeks, and it blows my mind, right? Blows everyone's mind. And those are the 2 victims that we know about, of course. And you can hear it that he was doing some type of denial in the initial, and Mr. Natsa called it out. Nothing else to say. This hearing took place when? 4/6/2022. I think we will see him again maybe in 3 more years. Well, actually, that was in 3, maybe in a couple of years. Full term date 2039. Anyways, thank you, Sir Richard, for pulling this hearing to my attention. And with that, we'll let you go.
And this carried on for almost 7 years. I don't feel that another little girl should go through the things that I went through, as far as feeling as if she is nothing, feeling as if she didn't want to live to see another day, feeling as if she was nobody and had no one to turn to. He told me that my mother would never believe me, and that's just what happened. My mom didn't believe me. I was lost, I felt alone, and I didn't want to live. And I don't feel as if another little girl or woman in general should go through the things that I did and the things that I'm still going through today.